Let's try this again. How's it going? My car's warming up. So by now, I think we're all hopefully graduating towards the, I think all of you should be at like the halfway point. There's two vegetables which remind me of what we're doing here. You have the artichoke, right? And it's artichoke, and then you take the pieces off, the little wings, and then you get to the heart, which is the best part of the vegetable, right? Those things are bomb. But it takes a lot of work to get, hey, there it is, boys. Check it out. Yeah, right on cue. So it takes a lot of time to get to the, and you can tell, you can feel their energy. Look, there's the other one, watch. Bing! So you can feel, I felt their energy before it happened. It's like when I walk out the door, I already felt, all right, guys, go ahead and cross the street over there. I already felt it. That's how strong this thing is getting. It's like getting that damn good. Right? And it's freaking awesome, man. It's awesome! Right? And that's why people they start fearing like chosen ones and stuff, because you start evolving, man, because of knowledge and virtue. Right? Hashtag giant. And so, and I had to show that to you because, I'll break it down as it goes too. You can feel the dude's energy driving the car. As he's driving, he got orders. They got orders. I felt it leaving the van, dude. Decoding it. Whoop! You see what I'm saying? So, and that's how this whole thing works. Like when I went and donated plasma, you have the Jezebels who were talking, the two loudest ones in the room. I didn't say nothing, right? I was just minding my own business. But see, they start navigating with each other. That's kind of the same thing how this works. And so you have the artichoke and the onion, right? Like when you go to Chili's, you can get one of those peeled onions and it looks all cool. You have to peel the layers back. Whoop, 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 whoop. And then you get to the best part, right? That's how you got to look at these movies. That's how you got to look at Hollywood. That's how you got to look at the depths of Satan and the depths of the kingdom of God. And I think by now we all know who the main characters are. I think we should all know, we should have an idea of, I think you should have a top 3 of who the Antichrist is, a top 3 of who the beast number 1 is, a top 3 of who the beast number 2 is, a top 3 of who Jezebel is, a top 3 of who the queen is. I think we're all getting to where we know the people that play these positions. Morpheus, Neo, right? And because at the end of, when Matrix started, right, they knew who Morpheus was. They were looking for him, right? They're all, we want Morpheus, right? It wasn't no more mystery. They knew what was going on. And like, I'm decoding the movie City of Angels right now, and this is one with Nicolas Cage. And when you want to, so the farthest I've seen the Jetsons, which is the 2 jets that hit the towers, right, resembles 2 people. The crossfire hurricane, it's symbolism for a different ethnic group. And so then you can break that down all the way to Sarah Connor in Terminator 1, which was I think in the 80s or something. And yeah, because 89 and then 91 was part 2. So she's wearing a Jetson shirt, right? The mother of the Jetsons, right? Yeah, she's the Jetsons' mother. And so you can start building these blocks. And then when you see like movies like Face Off with John Travolta, the title of Face Off is I had to become him to trap him. And so they've been building, right? And so you know how the Antichrist works now, ever since he's been in service, right? So we decoded Dumb and Dumber last night, right? The dude Mental, Joe Mental, his name is Joe Mental. They were talking about the future of the president in a movie called Dumb and Dumber, right, in the 90s. Because Joe's been in office for like 35 years, in the presidency cabinet, calling shots and stuff like that. So he's been calling the shots. He's been in the behind the scenes, right? So the City of Angels is about fallen angels, because at first it was a great one where the angel was connected to heaven, but then the Nicolas Cage, he's able to read the thoughts of people. Like he's walking through libraries and he's all reading people's minds and stuff like that. And then Meg Ryan, she's in surgery in the beginning because this dude has a heart attack. And they said, who was the cast of this? And then they're all Rosenberg. So Rosenberg had to do with the heart attack thing. That probably resembles me or something. I don't know. Oh, you guys put together the dots on that. I don't really care. I'm just focused on rabbit hole vision until the end. So, you know, the word rose is in so many movies. So I think at this point, you guys better know, you know, the salt in the rose pot or whatever, right? And connect the dots. And then you have Nicolas Cage, who starts talking to this woman, and then they end up having sex, right? And it shows Meg Ryan in a baby room. She wants a bunch of, she's like, when she wanted peace, she went in there and she was standing by all the babies, right? And remember my mom a long time ago, she's like, she's gonna want a baby, but she's not gonna get it. See, these are all the dots that are connected in my head. And so Meg Ryan's standing inside the baby room, and then Nicolas Cage is right there. And I believe the brothers switch. I think Nicolas Cage resembles one day and then the other the next day. And I think they swap because in this movie, Nicolas Cage's name is Seth. And in Dusk Till Dawn, George Clooney's name is Seth. But in these two movies, they resemble two different brothers, right? Seth and Seth is talking about two different. So I think they try to flop these things, like where the number one will go to number two, and then the number two will go to number one, and then they'll go whoop, 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 you know? And so, you know this to be true because of Sigma stuff. They started coming out with that Sigma stuff, and it's like, he can be the number one, but he likes the number two spot to stay low key, right? So you have them talking about that. And so then Nicolas Cage ends up having sex with this woman, and they're going to fall in love. He loses his angel's ability, right? And that resembles Genesis. So right there, you knew it's a fallen angel kind of story. And then they're going up a mountain. Actually, she's coming down the mountain, Meg Ryan, and this 18-wheeler pulling timber pulls out into the road, this 2-lane highway, and she's a bicyclist. And she runs into the truck loaded with wood. And then she ends up dying, I think. Well, she might not die, but I haven't watched it. I was able to decode this one like super fast. Like by the time I saw the baby thing, my mind was already jumping to the end of the movie. So then I fast forwarded it and I was like, oh wow. And so she's coming down the mountain, and then he's running up the mountain, and then they meet in the middle of the mountain. And she's laying there, you know, because she just ran into the truck loaded with wood. Excuse me. And so, and he's there consoling her, you know, and whatnot, and all that other stuff. And so I'm going to decode it fully, but this one is pretty cake. I think I've seen part of it in the past. And it's kind of cool. It's been, you know, it's been building up to a book that I want to write. So, you know, I got a call from, oh yeah, I got a call from a guy named Oscar today about writing a book, right? And then I noticed his last name is Miller. I was like, oh, your last name's Miller, huh? And he's like, yeah. And then he starts laughing, you know, because I think he's really inside the control room of this like media giant. And, you know, they have these micromanaged ran companies and stuff. And I think like a nerd can just, here, Tommy, set up a little thing real quick, a little book company, and then call Josh. Oops. Hey, Josh, what's up? We got a book company here. I think that's how they can literally do stuff these days. And the military doesn't get involved, right? It's called game with no involvement. So, they called me. His last name's Miller, you know, Oscar Miller. And then he's all, let me talk to my boss, because he kept wanting money. And I'm like, bro, I got $0 in my bank account. And I had to tell him that 3 times. And I was all, is your boss name Tony? You know, is he a pizza manager? And so he started laughing, and he asked me about my book, and I told him about the book. I was like, well, I'm writing a lot of decodes on movies about how Hollywood has invaded my personal life and my family, and that they get rich off of us and don't give us a dime. And that's what my book will probably be about, you know? And then, but you see where I'm going? His name was Oscar Miller, but was his real name Oscar Miller? Probably not. And then you can connect the dots when I was sleeping with Emily. Remember Emily and her dad? They came over and they were talking about the cow who was burning in the sunlight, and they put it out of his misery or something, right? Regarding my brother. And then you have he brought up the names, you know. And when I saw him, he was looking directly at my forehead, dude. One conversation I'll never forget is Emily's dad. When I met that dude, for a high-ranking Freemason, he was kind of nervous around me. Like, he was looking at my forehead, and he's like almost like he's like, damn, I'm right in front of this guy, you know? And I was able to read through him, but I was weak. And so, and I noticed whenever I'd start praising stuff, he would go outside, you know? And he was real good at deathification. And he mentioned how people's names aren't really their names, you know? And he mentioned some websites and stuff where you can get the truth. You know, now I found those, obviously, and dive right in it. He's a rabbit hole guy. And he knew his daughter, what she was up to and all that other stuff. And full moon, she gets all spicy and horny and crap. And, you know, so that was kind of a revealing moment. You know, and then when my brother Timothy was there, it all made sense because they got along. I was always left out of the loop. And now that I go back and I revisit those memories, you can tell I was out of the loop too. And Timmy and them were in the loop. Timmy, Emily, Dad, loop. Joshua, you the fuck out of it. Right? So that's why I get a little upset, because now I can put these puzzle pieces together. And I'm like, oh, so I've been the blind Joe that you guys never let in the circle, even though I'm the glue of the whole family. Oh, okay. And so you end up getting a little frustrated because you put all these dots together, and then you realize why they're looking at you. Like, they're looking at a sleeping wrecking ball, dude. You know, like, people, when they're looking at this guy, they're like, he looks so calm, and like he's just loving, got heart. But I know he's also got a wrecking ball inside of him, you know? And that's why there's so much friction in this thing. Because let's say you've been playing game on someone for 30 years, 36 years, right? Let's say you've been playing game on someone for 36 years. Let's say you've been an alcoholic for 15. You've been on heroin for 10. You've been addicted to sex for 8 while you're married. And then all of a sudden, one day, they ask you to quit. How many of you are going to accomplish quitting cold turkey in one day? Very low percentage. I mean, probably 1 out of every 20, right? So whenever I wake up at 36, see, I choose to go a different route. But how many of the actors that have been hired and are working for the Truman Show are going to be able to change? Probably 1 out of every 20, maybe 1 out of every 100. See what I'm saying? Because that's just how it goes, dude. This has become an addiction, right? The Miller MSDS has become an addiction. Like, the M has to be taken off. It's not gonna, the season is shifting, right? But now they're trying to be nice, and they're doing all this. And why? Because they can see the wrecking ball, right? They're like, fuck, you know, right? And so, and I know that now because I'm getting smarter, obviously. And so, and that ain't my problem, you know? Like, also, I quit putting pressure on me. Like, motherfuckers, you guys have been playing me for 36 years. And now you're going to put the reverse psychology on me and go, well, you're dangerous inside, and look at your character for 36 years. It's been wicked, slithery. You've been hiding in the background, behind the curtain, playing me, hiring actors. And then when all of a sudden the wrecking ball wants to come out and touch your cheek a little bit, your jaw, now you're using the reverse psychology on me. You're a danger to society. No, y'all are a danger. In my eyes, you a danger to society, right? And so it's a conflicting of interest, right? It's the mob gone mad. It's the mob gone divided. The mob gone crazy, right? And that's what's going down in this thing, right? And trying to find peace in all that is very difficult. Very difficult stuff. But that's the rabbit hole life. If you want to jump down this rabbit hole, it's backbiting, malicious, violent, it's deceptive. there's very little truth and almost entirely I want your seat, I want your crown, I want your bank account, I want this kind of life, and they're going to try to stab you, shank you, move you, play you, game you. But the rabbit hole, how it gets exposed is when you have some tough SOBs who go in there with bulletproof armor. But here's the thing. It's like God gives everyone who's willing to do that a certain string length, right? You got to think of it like this, right? Whenever they lower somebody into a hole, he's attached to a tripod system, right? And they lower him down, and he's able to look around and stuff like that. But eventually the rope runs out. But God, he does love the ones who are willing to go in there, because very few want to, because it's dangerous. You're going to get segregated. You're going to be misunderstood. You're not going to be picked for the team, right? So he gives you this like supernatural angel rope, and he ties around you. And he says, it's almost like he's just like, all right. And he looks at his angels and said, that guy's willing to dive in that hole where there's no truth, and he's going to pull some of it out for me. And it's like he gives you this rope and this suit, and he says, all right, but none of us know the exact length of it, because I think once you enter that road, he will protect you, but he'll remove a hedge from you too. And because you couldn't go in there without some type of protection from God, you would die. You know, because the devil, he would immediately go kill him, right? Because the more that truth is involved and brought to the light, the less effective deception is, right? And the whole thing about deception is hiding in the shadows. The kingdom of darkness is at its best when it's able to hide, right? Because when you can go out and work and then hide, you know, like a black widow. At nighttime, when the sun goes down, you notice black widows come out of their hiding and they'll play. But then when the sun starts coming up, they know. I've looked at a black widow as a security guard, and when the sun barely starts coming up, those things go boom, and they hide back in their shadows. And so whenever the two witnesses and the measuring tools are coming out in the plumb line, you can't no longer go hide. It's like a light goes in there and follows you. They go in the little rock, and the light's going, I'm right here too. So now the black widows are in their caves, but there ain't no more shadows. There's no more hiding in the shadows. And so the pressure, you know, the whole thing about the two witnesses is they torment the ones in the dark. Do you know what causes that torment? Because they can no longer hide. And so now they have to learn how to be evil, be wicked, be deceptive in the light. See what I'm saying? Because there's no more hiding ground. And so when there's no more hiding ground, it's just 100% pure, authentic, genuine, raw revelation. And that's when things get scary, dude, because the black widows are hiding, but a flashlight's shining on them, right? That's why it says the grassroots thing, where they cut the grass low and all this other stuff. And so that's what's going down. See what I'm saying? And so when it gets to a point where the two witnesses die, the whole world, they're tired of, they miss being able to hide in the shadows. That's the whole glue to the kingdom of darkness's game, is they're more effective when they're able to hide. Because like the character on Batman with two faces, right? Could he really be a two-face if the flashlight followed him 24 hours a day? No. Could Joker really be a Joker if the flashlight followed him 2 days all the way around? What about Batman? What about Superman? If the flashlight followed you 24 hours a day, you would be revealed. There would be no hiding, right? There's no more hiding. And I'm the dialogue breaker. So I can take a man named Jack and go, oh, Jack from the movie is Barry that lives in New York State. And this movie actor was hired to talk about Barry's life. Now you can cross off the actor and circle Barry. You can cross off Jack and circle Josh. You can cross off Nicholas and circle Timmy. You can cross off Wolverine and circle two people, because there's a real Wolverine and a fake one. You can cross off this guy and circle Thor. You can cross off this guy and circle Loki, right? And you start connecting the dots, cracking the code. And why are you able to do that? Because of revelation, light, right? If God didn't give me light to shine through Hollywood, I couldn't see it. You know, when I was asleep, I couldn't see. Now I watch movies, I listen to songs, I can see. right? Because it's bringing forth revelation, a testimony, right? And so it's a good thing. And all you black widows out there, there's no places to hide. That's why women are so open. Like, I tried to be nice to Kim Kardashian again. You know, she was on my Facebook, she had a new post, and she has this website called skims.com or something. So I click on it, and I'm big with names. So if I ever meet you, I'm gonna look at what your first name means, your middle name, and your last name. I always Google it, and because that's the first way to get to know you, because names are powerful. You know, like my name means God is Yahweh salvation, handsome, little rock, and cheerful. And then my last name means crazy and violent, right? So, and all those have followed my characteristics, you know, unfortunately. And so when I was on Kim Kardashian's website last night, her last name is Kardashian. And when you look at it, it means stoneworker and mason, right? She works with stone. And so I was looking on her website, and she has these like little bowls and stuff that are made out of the silhouette cool stone, dude. And so I start getting intrigued intellectually. I'm like, see what I'm saying? I don't get turned on by her ass or boobs, you know. And so I start looking at this stone, and I start, oh, her name means stoneworker. So then I'm starting to get like, you know, not like, how do I say this? Intellectually aroused upstairs, because I'm like, whoa, her last name means this, and she's making stuff out of stone. And so whenever I see that happening, I love that kind of stuff. So obviously I got on her thread and I messaged her. I was like, hey, did you start building in stone because you knew your last name meant stone? And then I'm looking at all the other comments, and they're a bunch of fucking snakes, green snakes, grass cut. And I go from that intellectual, I want to talk to you and get to know you, to just wanting to like block her. Because I'm like, how does this bring out this? You know, because not one part of me wanted to post a snake on your comment. There was 50 of these things, dude. And then I was just like, oh my gosh. And so then the turn on went from on to off like that. You know? Yeah. And I was just like, bummer. And I let her know about it too. I'm like, yeah, sorry I didn't post a snake like all your other fan base. You know, I was actually trying to wonder about, you know, your actual heart and mind in that. But it's just like I said, it's a revealing of everything. And it's a shame, dude. What a shame. So, you know, we're going to keep going down this rabbit hole. I might write a book, since, you know, the Millers are pushing me to write a book. So I guess they want me to finish this book and stuff. So. And just so you know, I got mixed feelings about you, Millers. I love you and I hate you. I have to be honest with you, because that's a fact. And but I will try to write this book, and eventually the M is going to be removed. It already is off the MSDS. Like the book said, if you don't like the writer, you can cancel them whenever you want, Joshua, with no questions asked. You can cancel them. You can get rid of them. You don't have to accept them. That's what he was meaning when he was talking about this. He's like, you have power. You know, you just ain't using it. And I'm like, all right. So this book would be kind of cool. It would be very cool, actually. And, you know, because now I can explain it in a way, right? Like when I was talking to an ex-woman, she like, I'm finally at the higher ground with these women. You do nothing but lie to me. And then I'm like, so when she says the word lie, I look at the word 98%. Okay, and I go, I almost laugh like Jim Carrey. That's funny. And then so now I can immediately go, you're full of shit. You say lie, I say 98%. Bullshit, right? And then I can call her out. And then I finally was able to be like, woman, you will never change. I'm the one going, I'm off drugs, I moved, I knocked on your door, I changed, but you won't. You're gonna stay bitter, twisted, resentful, mean, right? And now she's the liar, right? You see what I'm saying? And so, but you know you're growing when you could handle all this stuff correctly. Like, remember when I used to have an episode and I would go get a bag of dope, I would quit a job, I would get high for about 2 weeks, I would just masturbate on porn for like 50 hours straight, and I would just ditch everybody, go hang out with Sean, Dottie, and then we'd have, oh, let's restart it all over again. And then after, sobering up, I'd go through the process of trying to find a job, bullshit my way in the door. And why did that start? Because I was getting hit by this stuff. Well, now I'm getting hit by even more, dude, than ever before. That rhymed. And so, but my comeback power is increasing, right? Because I asked for this. I said, Lord, I want all revealed to me. And he's given it to me. And yesterday I almost had a heart attack with the info I got. Sometimes you can't take it. Some of your hearts are going to explode these last days and you're going to die. I might be one of them, but I'm still going to go down that rabbit hole anyway. I'd rather know the truth and my heart blow up than to live a lie and my heart keep beating. You know what I'm saying? So that's the road I've chosen to take. And if you are listening to me, you're on that road with me. And your heart is going to face consequences from hearing this knowledge, right? And the Bible says in the last days, men and women's heart will fail them because of the information that's been downloaded of what's to come. So you got to prepare yourself, start eating better, quit smoking cigarettes. That's your ability. Or if you keep smoking, just know that might come sooner. You know what I'm saying? And yeah. But we're all on this journey. I told myself yesterday, I'm going to keep going and I'm not going to stop because I took the red pill. And how the hell could I go back to blue now? There's no way. Who would want to? How could I just go back into La La Land and fake it? Like, there's no freaking way I can do it. And I don't know how you do it either. If you've been watching this past couple weeks, with the Millers and all this other stuff in Hollywood. Now I would keep your eyes open for movie stars who you're going to see quit all of a sudden. I guarantee you there's going to be a harvest of movie stars who all of a sudden just quit, pack up, and bounce, right? And the reason this is going to be happening is because their job is complete. When these 10 kings, the Antichrist, and the beast rise up, you're going to see a huge downfall in dialoguing. Hollywood won't even need to do it anymore. And so you're going to see a lot of movie stars, they'll just disappear. They're rich, so they're probably going to go into their last little mansion for the last 7 years or whatever they got left, because they've already bought water and canned goods that'll last them 10 years. They all got all that stuff. So you're going to see a lot of people walk out, like Angelina Jolie, she's walking out. But me, I know her dialogue, so I'm waiting on it. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, I'll be waiting for you because I'll be seeing you because I know what she's all about, but maybe not really her, but I'll be waiting for the dialogue, the real her. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I'm here training now, because dialoguing's over. Now it's time to get to the real stuff, the real juice, the real bullets, the real swords, and stuff like that. So, but you guys pray for these Hollywood people. It's good that they do that. Because you kind of want everyone to come to truth and make that decision. That's what the dividing line, right? And you want to get as many people off of that fence zone as possible. Or not get them off, but make sure they've heard the knowledge to where they can get themselves off. Because if they don't get themselves off and they get vomited out and killed, I don't really pity people like that anymore. I mean, if you stay right there and you get blown up, hey, you chose to do that. I'm not going to cry over it. I used to, not anymore. Because you have the puzzle revealer alive. Like, I'm talking to you. Hello! You can hear me. So it's like, I'm not going to pity you anymore, because I've been sharing golden nuggets, wisdom ideas to politicians for freaking 5 years now. It's not my fault they don't listen, right? So whenever the middle judge and juror gets here, I'm not going to pity you. You deserve what's coming, right? And you know what I'm saying? So that's why choose blue or red, left, right, which one you're going to do. Check it out, man. Lila Rose. Look at how this universal thing works, right? You have Roseburg. This woman's car in front of me is Lila Rose, independent stylist, and it's lilarose.biz. See what I'm saying? This follows me. I mean, I can't get away from it. And now you all see what I go through. See what I'm saying? That car in front of me. Is that an actor? I don't know. It's probably a lady who really owns a business. But why am I behind something that says Rose right here? See? And I'm behind it. Rosemary in Shallow Hal, she lifted Hal up and put him in the driver's seat. And then he was in front of her. Then she got in the thing right here and they were driving. Right? So, you know, what the real Rose, if you're watching, you know, I apologize, you know, and I put myself out there. So that's crazy. I'm gonna end it right there because I gotta go work out now. But woo, man, walking, talking puzzle fixer, dude. Let's go.